Blonde Ambition, book 3 from the A-List series. Let's go. If you have to ask, you'll never be on the A-List. Anna's an intern on the new hit TV show Hermosa Beach, and everyone wants to be her NBF. From the editors of the school newspaper hoping for a pipeline to a juicy gossip, down to that random kid in Anna's homeroom who acts in dog food commercials but really wants to direct. The only problem is that Anna's boss is Cammy Shepard's uber agent dad, and conniving Cammy doesn't share her father's attention with anyone, least of all Golden Girl Anna. So Cammy plots a scheme so twisted and devious it will put all of Hermosa Beach's storylines to shame. This is the 3rd book. This one I think I read this one probably the fastest. It's probably a tie between this one and Back in Black. I think I like this one the most. This one had the most, the highest capability of having interesting storylines that going forward I wanted to see continued, and it didn't. None of them really were. But this one's good, I think. I read this back in May. I'm sitting down to film this November 16th. Who knows? So let's go back. This one, if I am remembering the plot of this book correctly before I go back and look through all my annotated notes, is that, so at the end of the last book, Girls on Film, where Anna's sister drunkenly gets her fucking fired from her job. Anna gets fired, but immediately Cammy Shepard's dad scoops her up and is like, no, we're not firing her. This is a democracy. I don't care if she's your intern. I'm not firing her. I like her. She's spicy. He hires Anna to be a production assistant, production intern on the show Hermosa Beach, where she gets to read scripts, and Anna finds a love of TV that she didn't have before. You know, it's still, writing and literature, it's just also being acted out. Anna seems to thrive in this environment, making friends with the one of the writers who is an adult man over the age of 21, I believe. Generally gaining the appreciation of everyone in the plot. So Anna and Ben are back, to my knowledge, are back together. And they are toxic as hell. Like, Ben's dad needs to go to therapy, and so Ben is kind of staying around to take care of his mom and make sure that things are good. But it is not going well for their relationship. He's really, 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 really jealous. Blonde Ambition, I really liked Blonde Ambition. The plot being that post Wild Child's sister getting totally trashed, Anna's gotta get a new job. And so she ends up with, I believe I explained this part, but if I didn't, she ends up with this writer, but she's also still with Ben, and she's also having a flirtation with Django, which culminates in him getting way creepier. And I thought this was gonna like culminate into like, don't go after the dream guy. He's actually a creep, assault beware kind of story. But it didn't. He's just like really feeling out of control in his life, because even though Ben is older than Anna, he's still just 19. He's just a little guy in the grand scheme of things, and his parents are both in mental health facilities. So at a point in the book, they say goodbye and agree to not harp on each other and not be so worried about what the other is doing back home. Like, I'm gonna stand down for you, boy. I love you, girl. And I ain't gonna stop loving you, girl. So, Miss Hot Tits, I actually think is a really interesting story that, knowing how things go in the next couple of books, is really disappointing because it could have been more interesting. They just haven't returned to it. So, poor little Miss Cammy is feeling a lot of big feelings. She is unbelievably, unconscionably unlike herself in her attraction to Adam Flood. So, she's hot sex on a stick. He's still just like a nice boy from Indiana. So, Illinois. So he's still like, and he battles with if he wants her. and she's trying to figure out why he isn't jumping her bones. Performance anxiety, a tiny penis, we don't know. So I have to keep straight what's in this book and what's not in the next book because I have so many. I have a backlog. I'm sorry, guys. And so she's dealing with that, but she's also deeply still on big time hateration with Anna. So she's showing up to her dad's work because Anna's getting positive attention from her dad and decides, I'm gonna flip this whole fucking table over. Also, it's coming up on her 18th birthday and none of her friends have planned a party for her. Boo! Boo! Bad friend. I mean, party foul. She's kind of rotted. So she sets about planning her own party through spite and revenge. But before we even get there, while she's having her own ills with her dad, her bitch stepmom that I almost completely forgot about because she has not been involved in any of the rest of the plots. Her bitch stepmom is like, you have a little sister coming. And she's like, huh? And she's like, she's my daughter. And she's like, I thought the factory was closed. And she's like, no, it's from my first marriage to some other guy. She's been living with her dad. She's been going to school in the valley. She's moving in with you. So now Cammy has this little sister that is trailing her and is, you know, Cammy at a different stage. She didn't grow up with the same privileges, but she's bitchy and whiny and doesn't take no for an answer, and she keeps ripping her designer clothing. As they go out to parties and she's forced to bring her little sister with her, she feels compelled to protect her and make sure that she doesn't end up getting abused or strung out. She's just like, who left this child alone with me? Who's the adult in the room? I'm the adult in the room? Ah, bad news bears. Sam is largely missing from this book, as she's just, you know, it's mostly an Anna Cammy book, this book. Sam's stepmom is still pregnant and still trying to kick her out of the house, but she's just generally feeling bad about herself. We've kind of released the grip on the are we gay for Anna thing. She kind of is like, I just want to be friends with Anna, I think. But it was an interesting turn. I don't think it ever completely goes away from what I've read. So like, ship it? Maybe. Is it shipping or is it just friendship? The world may never know. Her being where she's not supposed to be almost got her milli murked. My God. And Dee is just kind of there. I think it is I don't know. The thing is like, what do you do with a Dee character? Like, she's so clear, like what they end up doing with her I do think is interesting, but she's more something to react to than someone actually doing things. She's still dating this guy at this point. Cammy is very sure that this guy is gay, but she's still here. She's still very cute, very blonde, very bubbly. So now we get into the part where I talk about all the insane parts of this book with quote details. So Anna's plot from this book is really learning to take risks. Like, she came out to LA to take, like, her whole plot is learning to take risks and like trusting herself. But like, she came out to LA to take risk and then she met one guy and was like, I guess I'm done with risk taking. It felt bad. And so everyone in her life, as in the last book, was like, girl, take more risks. But she's so boring. My notes directly from when I was reading it is, I'm becoming pissed at Anna. She's such a boring character. She is a good, studious girl that's a literature major and she loves books. She's not like a classic. She's vintage. She picks the plainest donut. Like she's gonna win a prize for living the most conservative, liberal life. That's liberal like MSNBC liberal. Voted for Obama a third time, 3.5 kids. In the 08 housing crisis is gonna make her the worst version of herself. She's so bland that she came out to LA to change her life and she can't even figure out how to do that right. She's not changing anything except for the men that slash boys that she likes. What are we even doing? And I believe this is a good bit of the way through the book. So she's like this most of the book. Anna is not the reason I like this book. It's definitely Cammy. So she starts out by being like, am I being too cautious? Am I not living life properly? I gotta start living like Cynthia. So at the end of the last book, she meets up with Ben, and they were literally, they got there. She finally gets her jimbles jambled by him, and we pick up with Anna after that. Anna's sister agrees to go to rehab because she has one more bender, and everyone's like, ugh. So she agrees to go to Arizona. Anna's dad is afraid that she'll renege if they don't do it quickly, so he calls Anna to come and disrupt every part of her life to come and help him parent her middle sister, her older sister. They go, Ben takes her, and she's like, oh, drop me off at my house. He does that and then meets them at the hotel, and he's like imposing himself. Ben imposes himself into every bit of Anna's life, flirting with being a college dropout. The sister, last bender. Turns out the Steinberg debacle wasn't enough excitement for 1 week, so I went to a club, Susan said self-mockingly, defensively. I felt like dancing, you know? Don't you ever feel like dancing? This chick I knew from Trinity goes to USC now. We arranged to meet, but the bitch never showed. I got polluted, really polluted. A bouncer drove me home. Iman or something like that. You're lucky nothing worse happened. Anna knew she was being blunt, but figured that a little fear never hurt anyone. I know. That's why I've had enough. The end. You think you can stick with it this time? I sure hope so. And so, mind you, they're having this really raw conversation, and there's Ben at the side of their table at the polo lounge. Go home, and Anna's dad's like, I don't like that boy. But like, Anna's dad also sucks, so you don't win any points for, you know, being like, I don't like your boyfriend. I don't like anything about you, Jonathan. Anna goes back to Apex to apologize to Margaret and be like, hey, sorry I fucked up. Margaret kind of wants her to beg about it to keep the job, but Anna's got too much pride and is not going to sell her sister out about it. And so she kind of is like, no, actually, nothing bad happened. And Brock went off to go get cracked out. So, like, that's hardly my fault. It is her fault. But she's got enough tenacity, gets the attention of Clark. Anna exited. She could see Clark and Margaret arguing through the glass wall, but couldn't hear a word. It must have been the nerves that made her think about clothes. Margaret and Clark were both impeccably turned out. She wore a pantsuit. Anna guessed it was Ralph Lauren, and his suit was obviously custom made. Sam had explained the bizarre show business clothing pecking order to her. Writers dressed like bums, producers dressed like writers, except they wore baseball caps to cover their hair loss. Directors dressed like producers, except for they were more frequently tanned from being outside while on location. Actors dressed like bums, but better since they spent their free time in the gym if they were earning a living, or running in the park if they weren't. If they were going to be photographed, they wore designer clothes and jewels provided gratis because designers wanted the free publicity. In fact, the only people who dressed like New York business people were agents. Clark clearly didn't share Margaret's understated style. Though Anna couldn't hear what he was saying, she could see him in there, waving his arms around. At one point, a finger stabbed in the air in Margaret's direction, and then he swung the door open and beckoned Anna back inside. You're not working with Margaret anymore, he barked. I'm well aware of that. You're still an intern, though. I don't know what that... You don't have to know. You're an insert. An intern, for Christ's sake. So just listen. You are not to talk to Margaret Cunningham. That means if you pass her in the hall or you see her in the bathroom, you are not to even look at her. She's dead to you. Understand? Anna thought about explaining it would be a bit difficult for Margaret to be dead to her, since there was a reasonable chance that any given morning she'd encounter Margaret at her breakfast table drinking her father's coffee. But then she thought better of it. Then she thought about declining this offer, whatever it was. She couldn't imagine why Mr. Shepherd had intervened on her behalf. The old Anna Percy. The old Anna Percy would have certainly declined. She could only imagine what her mother would think of crass Clark Shepherd. He might wear a $3,000 suit, but he didn't change the lack of class of the man inside. Screw it, Anna thought. Yes, sir, she said brightly and snuck a final blow at Margaret. Her demeanor hadn't changed, but her eyes were flecked with rage, not at Anna, but at Clark. Clearly, she had been out-manipulated by Cammie's father in some arcane game of intra-office politics. Come see me in my office in 10 minutes, Anna. It's the biggest one on the corner. This meeting is over. So he's a real wheelin' dealer, and he just, like, I don't even think he knows he's fucking with Cammie by doing this. So he gives her the script, and her assignment is Hermosa Beach. Do you know what Hermosa Beach is? No. Good answer, which means you've never heard of Hermosa Beach. Teen-orientated soap kind of thing. Beverly Hills 90210 on the beach meets upstairs, downstairs. Rich kids and the poor help, that kind of thing. You know those shows. Anna shakes her head. Clark just reaches for a script on his desk and hands it to Anna. There was a noise in the doorway. Anna looked up. There stood Cammie Shepard, looking as gorgeous as Cammie always looked, but also at the moment more than shocked to find Anna in her father's office. Hi, Anna, she said smoothly. How nice to see you. Which Anna knew that actually translated to, die, bitch. Anna smiled politely anyway. Clark went to his door and took his daughter by the arm and apparently spoke to her outside. Then Clark returned and closed the door behind him. Where was I? Hermosa Beach, Anna reminded him. Right. Click, 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 click. Derek Shepard. Clark Shepard paced as he spoke. Anyway, the show just started shooting. Our agency is involved in the production as the network that will air it. It premieres in 2 weeks. Don't listen to the good buzz on the street right now because it's in deep shit. The studio and network can't agree on what to do. Assholes. All of them. So you're going to spend a lot of time on HB. Got it? Anna's head swam. I do have one question, Mr. Shepard. Shoot. Why me? I'm just so perfect and special and things happen to me all the time. But how could this thing happen to me? There've got to be 1,000 people in the city more qualified to work with you on this. Any kid who can stand toe-to-toe with Margaret Cunningham has cojones, and I like cojones. You never raised your voice, but you held your own. Plus, you get brownie points for your pedigree. Looks don't hurt either. So, we go. So, I forgot. Sam's plot is bad because, God, they love to hurt this girl. So, Sam is trying to pick up Adam Flood as a rebound off Anna. They're flirting and talking, but it's like a whole thing. Reminder on the pin board is that Sam kissed Adam at the New Year's Eve party. As much as as much as Adam likes to be like, I'm such a good boy, he also bounces around the relationship polycule love decahedron. Sam is telling Adam, as she's trying to feel out how over Anna he is like, oh, I mean, are you and Anna still friends? They're like, yeah. And she's like, even though she just spent the last 2 nights with Ben Brahra. And he's like, what? And she's like, he didn't tell you? Oh. Come on, I'm a big boy, tell me. She told him. Ben and Anna and Ben together, big time. Emotions skittered across Adam's face as he rubbed the small star tattoo behind his ear. His shoulders slumped. I guess I won't understand until I talk to her. Man, love sucks. Hey, I have an idea, Sam said, sensing that if she was planning to make a big move on Anna, this wasn't the time. On Adam, what are you doing this weekend? Walking my dog and licking my wounds, most likely. My dad is doing a cameo on this TV show, Hermosa Beach, this weekend, and as a favor of a friend. It's his new season, there's an after party. Why don't you come with me? Oh, I don't think I'll be up to that, Sam. But thanks. Oh, come on. Why should you stop having fun just because Anna and Ben are having lots of it? Way to rub salt in the old wounds. She touched his hand again. It'll take your mind off of her. Really, I'd like you to come. Before Anna could answer, a line of waiters came to the table clearing the 8 first courses, everything from green beans and figs to slippery truffles. None of it appealed to her, and maybe the realization that Adam, why would you do this to me? Adam was nowhere near ready to be thinking of anyone other than Anna had dulled her appetite. Okay, I have this labeled because it's back to Cammie's point of view. And it's, at the moment, she's wearing a white velvet Jenny Packham bodysuit with a thong bottom and her lowest posh jeans, which meant that there was a good 6 inches of golden tan flesh exposed on both sides, all the way to her hip bones. Her hair was in its trademark wild style, and you could ski down. her pink Stila lip gloss. The reason I marked that is because I associate Jenny Packham as the major dressmaker for royal bride, future Queen of England, if we don't burn the system down, Kate Middleton. The girls, Sam, Dean, Cammy, have started to drift apart, and Cammy's like starting to notice and is like, oh, she's hanging out with that Anna girl, but isn't really interested in any of the self-reflection it would take to, I don't know, be less toxic to your friends. You know, can't do any of that. No. So, like I said, Cammy, you know, really taking some L's. She's losing out on men to Anna. She's losing out on friends to Anna. She's losing out on her dad to Anna. When Patrice drops the bomb, and your stepsister is moving in, Patrice announced loudly. Cammy turned the words over in her mind. I don't have a stepsister. She's my daughter, and I married your father, which makes the two of you whatever. Patrice raised an elegantly dismissive hand. Anyway, she's moving in tomorrow. Since when do you have a daughter? I gave birth to her 14 years ago. Cammy shook her head. This made zero sense. Patrice was a former star and a former has-been star, whose career had been resurrected by Clark Shepard. Cammy had read all of Patrice's past. There had been no mention of a daughter. Her name is Mia, Patrice went on. And when I had her, I wasn't equipped to raise a daughter and maintain a career. So she lived with my sister in Valley Village for most of her life. She's what? I'm not going to discuss this with you, Camilla. Suffice to say that I've invited her to move in with us. She and my sister have had some problems of late. I don't think so. It's up to your father and me, and we've decided. I've stayed up to tell you personally. Good night. Hold on, Mommy dearest, Cammy insisted, blocking Patrice's path. There's no way my father agreed to have your evil spawn move into our house. You hate children. How could you possibly have one? But Patrice slept right by her and climbed the stairs, leaving Cammy her blistered feet and $600 sandals that got them in that way in her wake. So Anna comes home from her first day of work. She's chit-chatting with Django. She's like, I hungies. He's like, your dad's not home? Do you want to order some food? She's like, I got leftovers. Whatever. Then she's like, I had leftovers. He's like, you want Ethiopian food? But then Ben appears, and it's like, God, Jesus Christ, give us a moment. While Django was retrieving the food, she got 2 bottles of blue imported water that her father always kept stocked and brought them into the dining room. Then she cut up a pineapple for dessert. She was halfway upstairs. She planned to change into a cashmere sweat when the doorbell rang. Even from there, she could see Django's key sitting on the marble table in the front hall. Evidently, he had locked himself out. Just a sec, Django, she called, then scampered downstairs, her skimpy robe flying. She opened the heavy door, ready to tease Django for being such an absent-minded musician. Only it wasn't Django. It was Ben. Hi! I wasn't expecting you. Ben eyed her up and down, taking note of the robe and the chemise. Oh, no? He asked, grinning. If not me, who? I think me, Django answered the question for him as he strode up the walk behind him with 2 shopping bags in his hand. Is this the great Ben? We've met, I think. He shifted the bags to one hand and stretched out his right one for Ben to shake. Ben took it without enthusiasm. We were just about to have dinner, Anna said by way of lame explanation. The awkwardness didn't pass, but Django looked about as loose and at ease as a man could get. This is a great surprise. I called a minute ago, but there was no answer, which means you should have shown up. Anna pointed down upstairs. My cell's in my room. Sorry. And you're down here with the driver. Clearly the jibe didn't bother Django, who gave Ben one of his patented no-hat salutes. I figured since Anna never tasted Ethiopian food, I'd bring some over, he said in his Louisiana accent, more cute than usual. What'd you say you'd pull up a plate and visit? I don't care for Ethiopia. Thanks. Django nodded. It's in a quiet taste. I can see that Miss Anna just got plans for the evening, so we'll do it another time. Hang in there, cowboy. He turned and looped down the path towards the guest house. Something about that guy. Ben's eyes were still narrowed. My dad's out of town. He lives on the property. He's a really good guy. Ben kissed her softly. Well, this really good guy came over with a surprise. It's parked out front. Ever seen the Los Angeles Night from Hollywood sign? Anna shook her head. You can't. It's illegal. But there's a place I know that's just as good. Go get changed. So she goes on a date with him, but it's like, I'm very particular about my time. I'm gonna say something that's contradictory and definitely like going in like a manosphere, like women are confusing bitches who only lie. But like, I really like to be surprised when I want to be surprised. You know, like, I love to plan date night. Every once in a while, I don't want to plan date night. It would be nice for date night to be planned for me. But I don't like it if you show up at my house and it's like, hey, you know how you were eating that food that you were thinking about eating before then? Why don't you come do this thing with me that's not eating the food? Sam, to wrap up the story from the last book, is that Sam has Anna come over to the house in which, again, her bitch stepmom is renovating the place in preparation for her new fetal collaboration to appear. She talks about the edit of the movie in which it makes her look really bad. And she's like, I'm not doing this because we're friends. And it's like, that's insane. That feels like blackmail, but it really seems to solidify their friendship. Sam never threatens to do anything kind of underhanded to Anna again. You know, the older you get, the further away you are from whatever, like, inane, you know, tweenage, early teenage years crush that you might have had. Unless you don't feel like you need to exact revenge on a girl that just kind of met him at an airport. And like, for me, it was like a couple of weeks between reading that last book and reading this one. And for me now, it's been months. And I'm like, oh, it was literally been hours since Anna wrote those words. And now it's like, and now she's got the guy she was pining about. Funny how things change so quickly. Anna goes and sees Adam and is like, oh. And so again, we get the Mimi big boy answer. I did tell you the truth. You didn't have to invite me to lunch to confirm that, Adam said. The only thing that pisses me off is why you didn't just tell me the truth in the first place. I did tell you the truth. When I stopped seeing you, it wasn't because I was wanting to see him or anyone else. Then things changed. His gaze at her was jaundiced. Come on, Anna. I'm a big boy. Mimi big boy. Mimi big boy? Mimi big boy. I'm telling you the truth. I wanted to be alone, and I figured out my life. Anna sipped his water. Well, evidently you figured it out pretty quickly. Anna sighed. I deserve that. I know I do. And I can't make any excuses, but I hope you're less upset, and we can stay friends. Adam laughed. Come on, Anna. Can't you do better than that? We can stay friends? Well, I do, Anna said defensively. You're a great guy. Who wouldn't want to be friends with you? The waitress brought Adam his sandwich and Anna her bagel. Clearly his appetite wasn't affected because he took a huge bite before speaking again. Has any guy ever said yes to I hope you're less upset and we can be friends? Quite cliche, huh? No kidding. I should get those words tattooed on my chest because I've heard them so many times. So, we're closing the door on that. Boop bop. Don't even worry about it. With Cammy, we get to meet Mia! I like this, Patrice's daughter Mia said as she slammed into Cammy's room without knocking and headed for a floor-length three-way mirror. She spun around, checking out her reflection from all angles. Cammy had been flipping through the new Los Angeles magazine to see if her photo had made it in that month. God knew she had been in enough movie openings and high-profile parties in the last month to deserve it. There was a big spread on Jackson Sharp's wedding. There was even a picture of that bitch Anna Percy and Ben Birnbaum standing with the hosts of Good Day, L.A., and the top-rated early morning show in the city. Those were identified by name, and Anna and Ben as unidentified handsome couple. There was nothing of Cammy. Seething, she looked up to see Mia twirling before her mirror in a burgundy Betsyville by Betsy Johnson sequins velvet miniskirt and pink Tracy Reese skirt, silk chiffon bustier. The outfit was great. The fact that Cammy had purchased it 2 weeks ago at Barney's and hadn't even taken it out of his box was not. What did you do? Sneak into my closet? Cammy demanded. Mia turned, hands on her narrow hips. Shows what you know. My mom said I could try on your clothes. Cammy folded her arm. Well, you can't. Jeez. I was just trying to be nice, Mia muttered under her breath as she flounced around the room, still wearing Cammy's bustier. Cammy laid back on her stack of white cream pillows atop her extra king size teak platform bedside. Her stepsister had moved in a mere 16 hours ago and had taken a mere 16 minutes to get Cammy to detest her. Cammy goes to her father's office Anna's already there. Is anyone ever at school anymore? We go back to where we were before when Cammy gets politely removed from her father's office, and she's just there to bitch about Mia. She pitches a fit and is whiny, and her father's like, girl, I need you to grow up, but in a less, emotionally mature way. I got some advice for you, Cammy, her father murmured in her ear. Grow the hell up. Then he made a big show of hugging her goodbye, stepped back into his office, and closed the door emphatically. Gerard held a paper cup out to her. Your coffee, Cammy. Hermosa Beach. We get the script for Hermosa Beach, so I must do a dramatic reading. Hermosa Beach. Fade in. Chime Langley, 17. The kind of bikini-clad blonde that makes all little girls aspire to move to California. And her boyfriend, Cruz Perez, 18. A bad boy from the wrong side of the tracks. Walk hand in hand down a sun-swept beach. Cruz. I'm not going to dishonor your father. He's been too good to me. Chime. All we did was fall in love. That's not a crime. Cruz. Your father owns Hermosa Beach Hotel, Chime, and you've fallen in love with the maintenance man's son. In this town, that's not awkward. That's a felony. Anna sat on the living room couch, feet tucked under her, reading the pilot script for Hermosa Beach that it's been messaged to her dad's house. Her mind so reeled at the notion that Clark Shepard, in essence, wanted her to be his protege and help out the show. People think the bucks in this town are in movies, but that's bullshit. TV rules. So Anna's back at home pondering things when Django rejoins her. Oh, and she's like, hey, it would be super nice to see you, but Ben's coming over at 7. And she's got to work around that and his jealousy. She's got to watch this show. She's like, you're welcome to join me before Ben arrives. So they do that. And then he brings her the Ethiopian food. They eat the Ethiopian food and it's delicious because Ethiopian food is peak. So she watches the show Django, drinking chicken juice, eating sauce, when Ben appears and fucks up the whole vibe. He's got such a weird vibe. Like, I don't think Anna's emotionally cheating on Ben with Django. I don't, like, maybe that's what the author is trying to put across, but I'm not picking up what she's putting down. It just feels like she's friends with this guy and her boyfriend just shows up and is weird. So we're on, the date that they're on is Ben's dad's boat, a major character from the first book. His father's yacht, the Nip Tuck 3, it was docked at Marina del Rey. It's the same ship that Anna had last seen on New Year's Eve. Okay, I'm going to note that, and if it's not anything, I'll cut this section. And I'm feeling myself. Now I'm in my bag. As Ben piloted his parents' yacht, the new Nip Tuck. Okay, so they don't give it a name. I'm pretty sure the other one was Nip Tuck 2. Nip Tuck, Roman numeral 2. I knew that it wasn't this. Okay, so they're on the boat where all the tragedy happened, and literally every time Anna gets on this boat, she's like, numb flashback to being abandoned by this man, which is like big when you're 16. Honestly, if I went on a date with a guy and things were like too good to be true and then he abandoned me, oh, I'm bringing that up at every time you fuck up from now on. On New Year's Eve, a virtual stranger. They kind of go back and forth. He's like, don't punish me. It was complicated. You know that. And she's like, yeah, I was still traumatized. They go under the cover. They roll around. Anna keeps being like, when are you gonna go back to school? And keeps being like, stop bringing up school. I don't want to think about school. I want to think about you. Which is only half correct. He looked so sad, so earnest. She nodded gratefully and sipped the coffee. What they shared for the past couple of hours had been amazing. She had fallen asleep with a contented smile on her lips. How could she wake up with the same old fears? A memory, long buried, flitted into her mind of her father, there one day, then gone. Her mother wouldn't talk about it. In fact, it was nearly a year until she informed the daughters that she and their father had gone through a civil divorce, and Jonathan Percy was now living in Beverly Hills, California, his hometown. She wanted to tell Ben about this, yet something stopped her. for all her insight into bonding. Anna knew little about intimacy. God knew she hadn't learned it from the This Is How We Do Things in the big book East Coast Wasp edition. Sharing something so personal was number one in the apocritical book Thou Shall Nots. Don't know why that one was the one that got me. Anna's just guarded, and it makes her, like, her overall growth through the story might benefit from it. But in these first couple of books, she's just so wound up tight that you're like, oh, come on, girl. Have a little fun. Release the grip, Mamacita. But she can't, because she's uptight wasp girl. She sat back. Why wouldn't he talk about Princeton? It wasn't like it was a state secret. The crisis at his house was over, he had told her. Why was he still hanging around Beverly Hills? What happens when I do go back, Anna? He asked. What do you mean? I mean the Contessa and the Southern Fried Chauffeur. Anna's jaw flapped open. Are you talking about Django? The way he looks at you. Ben, we're friends. Close friends? Ben probed. Close personal friends. He came to Anna's face. I don't deserve that. His hands gripped the steering wheel. The idea of being on the other side of the country, being without you. He lives right there, and it's just... Anna put a slender hand on Ben's thigh. Django and I are friends, she said. He nodded and cranked up the music. They didn't talk again until they reached her father's house, where he parked in the circular driveway and took her into his arms. I'm sorry about before. I just care about you so damn much. It's a chop. It's a chop for me, girl. It's okay. She kissed him softly. He walked her to the door and kissed her goodnight. She thanked him for an incredible evening, then watched him drive away. And out of the corner of her eye, she couldn't help but notice the lights in Django's guest house were still illuminated. Anna, it's hot gossip because Anna is still a relative unknown at Beverly Hills High. And frankly, she will remain that way because she's very rarely ever at school because she's already got early admit to Harvard, to Yale. So she's just like, so she's really there just burning time. Pairing up Anna's work with Sam on the short film, in which afterwards Sam is like, I'm writing a film, Anna and I are writing a film together. You all can be in it. You all want to like me so bad. Please like me so bad. You want to like me so bad. So Anna also working on Hermosa Beach. People are like, whisper, whisper, whisper about Anna. I think this is one of the weaker plot lines in the book because they don't spend enough time with any of the Beverly Hills High School students to really gather how much outside of our main group of friends who they are the A-list. They are in their own essence this like upper echelon untouchable class at Beverly Hills High. But like Anna being a part of that, they don't really linger on. However, it's like part of her lore that like no one knows a lot about her, and so they can just lie and make things up about her. So when she gets a job working for Hermosa Beach, they assume that she slept her way there, she knew somebody, something, all sorts of different ways she could have gotten the job that wasn't just her merit. And then later on, gossip also has the same effect. Sam has started a new crash diet called power eating, call it fucking bulimia with extra steps. The school's newspaper's editor was hassling Anna. Anna wants to know why it's called The Well. I thought this might be important for later. Hasn't come up yet. One more question. How the school's paper get its name? The Well. That's kind of strange. Anna speared in... Everyone's Anna. Everyone's Anna. You're Anna. I'm it. Sam speared another cube of chicken and forked it into her mouth. There's crude oil under our high school and the working oil well. Up behind the maintenance yards, that big building covered with paintings of flowers. You're kidding. Nope. Turns out Jed Clampett could have done his hunting out here. Jed Clampett? For the umpteenth time since she'd arrived to LA, Anna felt like an idiot. Beverly Hillbillies, 60s sitcom, mirror image to Paris Hilton's The Simple Life. I'm totally lost, Anna admitted. And you're going to work in TV? Sam smiled sadly. Nothing makes sense anymore in this town. Welcome to Hollywood. I do love their relationship moving forward. I liked it in the last book, but I really do like them as not romantic partners or someone to get one over on. They're like confiding in each other. And there's something beautiful about, I high school where you can still, because you're going to school and you're going generally to the same areas with the same people all the time, you can generally fall into a friendship with people you might not have even known 2 weeks ago just because you worked on a school project or you saw them and they had a cool bag and you talked to them and now you two are confiding in each other blood secrets, you know? Friendship. So Cammy smells blood and weakness in the water with Adam. So Dee is still dating that rock star guy, Brooklyn, Stevie Brooklyn, and they are, and there's one thing that Zoe Dean fucking hates. It's a bitch with a fucking East Coast accent from Brooklyn. They're gonna be opening at the Hollywood Bowl for Beck. So she's like, might as well get the CDs. But then she's like, oh, Adam, do you want to go with me? It's kind of weird. But, you know, it's she just smells the weakness that she can take on Sam. Hey, Cammy. Cammy turned. Sam was coming towards her and was arm in arm with Adam Flood, which meant it wasn't the time to ream Sam out. Cammy quickly decided. No reason for Adam to think that she was a cold-hearted bitch. So Cammy gave Sam a big hug. Waited for you to tell me how great your film was, she exclaimed. Magnificently shot. Adam, you really missed something. You have to ask Sam to show it to you. It's wonderful. Sam beamed. Thanks. So where are you two going? Bev's, Sam said. Cammy knew, which meant the Beverly Hills Hotel. Cammy, Sam, and Dee hung out there the way the kids in Kansas say might hang out at a local Taco Bell. Adam's never been. Can you believe it? And his basketball practice got canceled. Want to come with? I'd love to, but I have to meet a friend. Now it was Sam and Adam's turn to walk away, and for Cammy's blood pressure to shoot skyward once again. Sam Sharp and Adam Flood, arm in arm. What happened to Adam licking his wounds over losing Anna? She remembered Sam had told her how on New Year's Eve she and Adam had swapped some spit. I need you to hold that for another book, and I might not get to it for a while. You might not see it, but that's interesting because she says she didn't tell her that, but she did. Now Sam was moving in like a pear-shaped vulture. She was to pick up the pieces of the body before they even rotted away entirely. In any case, this was the first afternoon in a long time, maybe forever, that Dee and Sam had both made plans without consulting Cammy. What was going on here? Who the hell did they think they were? She picked up her cell phone and dialed home. Mia answered. Yeah? That's how people answer the phone in the 818? Yeah? Cammy asked. What do you want? God, the girl was impossible. But Cammy wasn't the type to fly solo. Mia was better than nothing. Wait outside. I'll pick you up. The wicked stepsister's taking shopping. Anna's at work and she meets Danny Silver Bluestone. He's a writer on Hermosa Beach and he is significantly older. About 45 minutes in which the word fuck was ordered at least 100 times and not a single sentence had been written on the whiteboard, the staff took a break. They fled the room quickly except for the young guy who had been running the discussion. He walked over to Clark and Anna. Danny, how's it going? Mr. Shepard asked, shaking his hand. Great, can't you tell? $1.4 million in salaries, and they've got nothing, the guy said, his brown, friendly eyes fixated on Anna. Hi, I'm Danny Bluestone. Danny's our boy genius, co-exec producer, Mr. Shepard explained. Anna frowned. Sorry? Guy in charge of the room. If the show tanks, so does he. Mr. Shepard translated. Danny, I want you to meet my new intern, Anna Percy. Her pedigree is just about as snooty as the one you cooked up for Alexandria, said the short guy in the baseball cap. Chime is intimidated by Alexandria's old money confidence, yada yada yada. Big fucking deal. But where's Cruz fit into this equation? Why does Chime feel so fucking threatened? Why the fuck does Anzea scare her, really? Which is the similar way to last book's I'll use baby hand for this. The similar way that last book's Great Gatsby thing of it all was supposed to be reminiscent of what's your tits? Anna's relationship with Adam and Ben, and you know, does Daisy end up with Gatsby? Anna is Alexandria, Chime is Cammy. It's not that hard to track. But the writers are bad, and they can't write an East Coast wasp girl to save their life. They give her long nails that a girl like Anna would never have. Danny shook Anna's hand. Nice to meet you, he grinned. Actually, you look like you could play Alexandria. I'm not an actress, Anna assured him. Did you see Pegasus out there? Anna furrowed her brows. Pegasus Patton. She's playing Alexandria, he explained. The brunette in the lobby? She's hot right now, Mr. Shepard added. Just came off an indie film with Nicole Kidman that's showing at the Sundance in a couple weeks. She's an Apex client. Anna nodded politely, though she understood about 50% of what he had just said. Then Mr. Shepard and Danny got into a long technical discussion about the cost of shooting certain scenes and whether those scenes could be written so that they'd be cheaper to shoot. Neither of them looked in her direction or even mentioned for her to take a seat, so she drifted back towards one of the whiteboards where they were filling out and writing rather idiotically. Finally, Danny glanced at his watch. Okay, we'll summon the writers for 10 for dinner. We're ordering from La Scala. Can we get you anything? He looked from Mr. Shepard to Anna. She was about to decline when her boss said to bring them both pastas with mussels. If you're a hit, he told Danny, next year we'll squeeze enough money out of those sons of bitches to cover dinner and lunch. Anna, I need to go over a few things with Mason. Danny, give Anna the new pages. When the food comes, call me. How do you like your internship? It's my first day, so I actually don't know yet. Anna admitted, grateful to be off her feet. And honestly, I hardly know anything about TV. That won't last. Try not to let Clark intimidate you. It's one of his specialties. I'll keep that in mind, Anna said dryly, but I'm not all that easily intimidated. Good for you. Anna cocked her head at him. If you don't mind me asking, he called you Boy Wonder, but you do look really young to be, what is the co-executive producer? Danny leaned in close. I'm 23, but don't let it get around. I try to pass for 28. He shrugged. I just got lucky early, right out of UCLA. I wrote a spec for Buffy that a chubby, bespectacled girl with a pencil stuck in her messy bun and a clipboard in her hand ran into the conference room. Pegasus complains about the dialogue and everything. Anna comes over and is like, girl, what the fuck is this? Shit. I knew I shouldn't have cast her, Danny muttered. The brunette in the lobby? Anna asked. Danny nodded. She's supposed to be like this rich-ass preppy girl. You know any girls like that? I suppose I am a girl like that, Anna confessed. And I couldn't help noticing, and please tell me to shut up if I'm out of line. No? Well, her nails and the way she's dressed. New York prep school girls don't have red fingernails, and they don't wear Versace. Come on, Danny Goff. I'm serious. Anna insisted. I realize I'm speaking in generalities, but short nails, no polish, not even a French manicure. Prep schools like to pretend they don't care about things like that. And Versace? Wrong, huh? An East Side prep school girl in New York would wear something vintage, maybe. She could have found in a thrift shop for $5. It could have holes in it, and it looks like you don't care. But Alexandria, this character, her father's a billionaire. She comes from 5 generations of money. So do I, Anna thought, but wasn't about to say so. Even more so for a reason not to wear it on her back. Unless it's, say, vintage Chanel, or she's being ironic. Anna stopped herself, a bit lower lip. God, I'm sorry I shouldn't be telling you. No, it's fine. I'll let costume people know about it later in hair and makeup. So she has actual influence. She's got a lived experience, a point of view. She's interested. When I would have loved to see Anna, I think that's just like my love of TV production. I would have loved to see more Anna in this. Cammy takes Mia shopping at Fred Siegel to spend a lot of money. And Mia oogles and boogles the money. When they get home, she's trying on one of Cammy's purchases, and in a freak accident of Cammy being too impatient, she rips the sleeve off of the jacket, and they have not a fist fight, but they have a tiff about it. Anna, Cammy is just feeling like garbage again. All her friends have abandoned her. She has no love prospects that are really serious. And she's got a lot of conflicting feelings about the Floodster. Had her arm around Cammy's narrow shoulders. They wore matching dresses and matching smiles. But now Cammy was about to turn 18. Such an important birthday, with no mom at her side. And the memories of her that she had did ebb with each passing year. A tear rolled down Cammy's cheek. She fisted it away. God, look what she had come to. Sitting alone in her room crying about her life. No fucking way. She was gorgeous, Hollywood princess. She'd simply throw herself a gorgeous Hollywood birthday party. She'd get Dee to help. One of her Kabbalah classes, she'd have the girl eating out of her hands again. And she'd definitely invite Sam and Adam. If they were a couple, she'd flirt with him outrageously to teach Sam a lesson. And then to show her who's boss, maybe she'd even invite Anna Percy. Well, maybe not. So Anna is like she's getting her feet wet. She works on the production through dinner. She's eating dinner with Clark and the writers. He leaves and is like, take this limo service home, bill it to Apex. You're gonna be my eyes in the sky. Anna takes in a lot of the things that I think are fun about like the show business part of this. So for quite a while, she stood out of camera range and was surprised and watched some of the show actually being shot. She was surprised at how the dialogue was cut into small chunks. Then the director would call cut, and the actors would wander off or get their makeup redone or change outfits while the next shot was set up. The process was a little bit dull, to tell the truth. Clark had left Anna with a shooting script. Scenes were marked in order in which they'd be shot, which wasn't the order the scenes were in the script. In this episode, currently filming, there were 3 scenes in the hotel lobby. One at the beginning of the show, one near the middle, and one at the end. All three scenes were shot back to back. The actors had to change costumes, but evidently that was easier and cheaper than shooting the show in chronological order. As Anna looked down the table, she noticed there was a definite pecking order to the seating. The actors were sitting together, and the guy who played Cruz looked a little like Ben, but was darker and not as tall. She realized she'd barely even thought of him all afternoon. The waitress set 4 pitchers of ale on a long table. Danny reached for Anna's glass and filled it. This is going to be the best ale you've ever tasted, he reassured her. Anna had no reason to argue, since the truth was she had never tasted any kind of ale before. She took a small sip through the foam, and it tasted like urine, or what she imagined urine would taste like if she were to actually drink it. She read about it in certain African tribes who drank their own as a curative for, what's the verdict? Danny asked, taking a long pull. Interesting. Why is this child drinking with this adult man? Police! 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 So they're sitting there talking, enjoying the beer. Anna's not thinking about Ben. And, she gets to why they're there. I wasn't there, but that's what I heard. Danny took off his New York Yankees baseball cap and plopped it playfully on Anna's head. Anyway, the notes you gave me on Alexandra were really helpful, you know. He cocked his head at her and grinned. Anna tipped the hat lower on her forehead. So, Danny, do you like writing for TV? I like the money, he answered. I drive nice cars, I go on nice vacations, I send my younger brother presents for Hanukkah. But actually, I'm writing a spec for in my own copious free time. A spec? A film no one is paying you to write, Danny translated. And after which your agent tries to sell. It's tough, though. I work on Hermosa Beach 6 days a week in a good week, and often until 9, 10 at night. I've been at this since early June. What's your movie about? A man in pain. Searching for something to believe in, Danny quipped. Anna nodded, trying to look solemn. Ah, man against himself. How archetypal. I can't even spell archetypal. Anyway, college guy hitches around the country, then around the world, yada yada. College guy ends up in the Peace Corps. No one will make it. Not sexy enough. But dumb me, it's the story I want to tell. It sounds boring. It sounds bad. It sounds boring, my guy. Sure. Anna's like, if it's a story you want to tell, it's not dumb. And they're kind of like play flirting. And she's testing the limits of like casualness. Casual. You don't have to be silly. The style of this next chapter is called Hetero and Breathing. Basketball team wins their game, and so they're going to a party at venues because somebody pays to get on the team so that everyone lets him on the team so that he can host all the parties because he's got the best house. When Cammie gazed across the basketball court towards her fan, her eyes meet an array of fashion disasters, plus the venue girls were so fat. Yet the fat ones were in the skin-tight jeans and heels, like they were proud, and dipping a talon-length fingernail into a paper plate full of greasy nachos. So gross. Sounds like a fucking dream to me. Ben wins the game. The post-game was at the home of Kyle Bashar, one of the substitutes on Beverly Hills team. However, his father was the most successful personal injury lawyer in Southern California, which was why the family owned one fantastic mansion off of Bellagio Road in Bel Air and another oceanfront one in Malibu. Mr. and Mrs. Bashars permitted Kyle to host one post-game party per year at the mansion of his choice. Kyle had chosen the Malibu this year. To ensure a good crowd at Vandy's game, he had passed the word to any student who brought his or her ticket stub could come to the after party. Some enterprising kids had printed fake stubs and sold them for $5 a pop, which accounted for why guys pushing a decade older than high school were hitting on the high school girls, and why so many cars were trying to get over to Topanga Canyon. That's the traffic jam at the turn onto Pacific Coast Highway. Cammy somehow got separated from her friends as soon as they came through the front door, and so she strolled around on her own. The house was ultra modern, and it looked like it had been lifted wholesale from the set of A Clockwork Orange. All stark furniture pieces, right angles, and white walls, and vaguely phallic-looking sculptures. The main living room was seething and writhing mass of students, and the friends celebrating the unlikely victory. Cammy gets flirted with by a 25-year-old frat boy, which is already too old to be a frat boy. Adam's there, and she's really excited to see Adam. I forgot for a second that, like, I was already shipping them in the first book because they're so cute together, and, like, just a nice guy with a terrible mean bitch. I love that. My neck is got the light across it, so I thought there was something wrong with but it's just my nameplate. Who are you? I now have the blonde ambition. I don't know if it's actually blonde or not, but we're here now. Cammy's going at the high school party in Van New, where she is flirting with Adam. He's just like being himself, and she's just so smitten with the idea of the good, normal boy Adam. Cammy's like, they trade magic thoughts back and forth. She tells him that her favorite book is Charlotte's Web, which I believe was the last book her mother was reading to her and was painting the mural of right before she died. She gives him a little kiss, and he's like, you too. You too. Good game, Chief. Good game. Back to Anna. Anna's trying to be a career woman. A career woman at 17. This is one of those times where I'm like, could this series have been about college-aged people? Yes. I know, like, the young adult, new adult literature wasn't there yet market-wise as far as this kind of story. But, like, golly, couldn't you all have just been literally 21, 20, so that I don't have to feel weird about the dubiousness of some of this activity? Yeah, you're a little stupid, bud, and that's okay. So Anna's trying to be a career person. She's really trying to be a lady doing it for herself. And dumbass Ben calls her 4 times while her phone is out, and he's just like gripping too tight, too much. Ben calls her that night and is like, I want to take you on a date tomorrow. So he does. They go to Hussey's, a diner on the beach, or maybe corner of Strand, a broad pedestrians-only strip of restaurants and boutique. They talk about Anna's life back home and how she used to have a house in the Hamptons, and her mom sold it for some reason when she was in high school, which again goes into like parent ranking. Don't forget the parent ranking. The parent ranking's coming. She's like, maybe I'll go back out to the Hamptons and I'll visit you at Montauk. And he's like, I don't want to talk about Princeton. I don't want to talk about it. Like, I've read ahead of this where I'm with you, so I hear his point of view. It feels a bit domestic. It feels a bit on the problematic side. Like, someone check on Anna to make sure she's all good at home because her boyfriend is fucking crazy. Anna's literally trying to balance her work life with Ben when it was, Anna thought, as she and Ben paddled back from Redondo Beach to Hermosa Beach, one of the best days she had had since she had come out to California, and maybe one of her best days ever. But just as Hermosa Beach Pier was coming into view, Anna's cell phone rang. She stopped her bicycle to answer it. Hello? I need her to pick up some dailies. It was Clark Shepherd, with no preliminaries and all manners of ill-tempered homo erectus. How soon can you get to set? How far are we from the Strand in Hermosa Beach? 5 minutes. Clark hung up. What a lovely man, Anna said, putting her cell phone away. So she's now has to mix Ben with writer dude Danny. She meets up with Danny, and Ben is off-putting the same way he is to Django. And you're just like, God, this guy lighten up. Danny's a writer on the show, Anna went on, choosing to ignore the scowl that had taken over her boyfriend's face. Ben didn't say a word, so she muttered something about picking up the dailies for Clark. She gets the dailies, and Ben just, he throws a fucking bitch fit. I think he enjoys telling me what to do, Anna said ruefully. Anyway, thanks. Not a problem. Danny sat on the edge of his desk. Hey, come back later on. We're gonna hit Dublin's again. Nice to meet you, Ben. Anna could feel Ben's ire as they left Danny's office, crossed the hotel lobby, and headed back outside. Truth be told, she felt awful. It seemed like such a small deception when she let Ben think that she hadn't picked up his calls the night before because she was working. You gonna explain that? Ben finally asked when they reached their bicycles. The cast and crew went out last night and invited me along. You told me you were working. Anna didn't reply. What's up with you and that guy? Ben demanded. Nothing, Anna said quietly. That's a little crap, and if it was nothing, you wouldn't have lied to me about it. I didn't lie to you exactly. What the hell do you call it then? Would you calm down, please? You're making something out of nothing. Maybe. Ben started walking his bicycle down the path towards the shop where they had rented them, and Anna pushed hers along too. Maybe I didn't tell you because I thought you'd overreact, which is exactly what you're doing. Don't twist this around, Anna, Ben insisted. I don't think we should have to get so intense. That Ice Maiden shit might intimidate the hell out of guys back east, Anna, but it doesn't mean squat to me either. Either we're together or we're not. Which is crazy coming from a guy who ran through his friend group like a Tomb Raider and then is like, ugh, why won't you submit to me? I'm a good guy. Your eyes are so bright. I'm still not wearing lashes. So Adam is making his way towards a concert. He's gonna go see Sting and his band, The Police, and enjoy Roxanne. While Adam was waiting for the music to begin, Cammy paced the floor of her room, cell phone in hand. As she waited for Sam to answer, she could hear the strains of Christina Aguilera coming from Mia's room. God, this girl's taste in music was as bad as her taste in clothes. So Adam's gonna go see Beck open up at the Bowl. You know who's there? Dee. So Cammy's like, I guess I'll go and meet up with Adam there because she can get seats and tickets to anywhere because she's money. Anna's also there. Cammy gets tickets. Cammy drives there like a lunatic, and then she makes Adam find her. He finds her and she's like, oh, I have these backstage passes. Would you like to go and meet Beck with me? And he finally peps up. There's a thing with Willie Nelson. She's like, Willie Nelson's gonna be there at this after party. He's like, I don't believe you, but we should go. I think he actually believes that she confuses Willie Nelson and Hank Williams. They watch Beck together. They go to the show. P. Diddy is involved. I thought there'd be a lot more people, he said, surveying the pool area. It wasn't empty, but it wasn't crowded either. The atmosphere was, if anything, subdued. I've been to a lot of these. It depends on the musician. Kid Rock and P. Diddy post parties were pretty raucous. But sometimes it's just a bunch of people in a hotel suite doing drugs, and Rick Renesnik makes a rare reappearance from the first book. Adam doesn't drink. Cammy's like, whatever you want. They go and they watch Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, who Adam hadn't even realized was at the party, and with him Beck himself. Their fingers flew furiously, picking out the notes of a raucous bluegrass tune. Adam froze, not wanting to disturb them. Then it was Willie Nelson who looked up and saw him, smiled, and then with a cock of his head indicated that Adam should join them if he wanted to. Adam, heart pounding at his good fortune, had to stop and pull himself together. He gave them a little wave and practically floated to an empty chair. There he sat, grinning from ear to ear, listening to two of his musical heroes jam. An hour later, he was still there, sure that if he wasn't in heaven, he was close. So, finally, we can release ourselves from the Ben Bra experiment. I'm going to do a lot of reading in this section, I think, but it's kind of important. After their argument at the beach, she and Ben had kissed and made up, and then she'd gone home to shower and change. But she was still uncomfortable with what had transpired. She had never expected Ben to be a possessive boyfriend, and she wasn't sure how to handle it, and felt equally uncomfortable the closer she got to it about a family dinner with his parents. Ben had told her in great detail about the travails of her father's, whose huge gambling addiction had sucked dry his enormous income from being a plastic surgeon to the stars, but it had led to an ugly incident on New Year's Eve and to Ben's mom being hospitalized by a nervous breakdown. Now, here it was just a few weeks later, Mom was home, Dad was supposedly functional, and Ben had invited her to share a Friday night meal with them. Though she had told Ben yes, by the time she was ringing the doorbell to the front of his house, she was thinking big fat no. He hugged her and held her close. How about if we just pretend this afternoon never happened? He whispered into her hair. Her answer was to nod and kiss him, but she noted that it wasn't the first time in recent memory that she'd been forced to erase the mental record on his behalf. She felt herself relax. Everything was going to be all right. So listen, he went on. My parents decided we should go out to eat. My dad made reservations at Spago. We're supposed to meet them there. That's okay. That's okay with you. It's not my favorite, but my dad thinks it's good for business to be seen there. Are you really sure you want to have dinner with them? Anna asked. It's not too soon? Nah, it was my idea. I really want them to meet you. So they go and look at his old yearbooks, and she's hanging out. She had hesitated before nodding because, as far as she knew, she hadn't had a geek stage. Nonetheless, it warmed her heart to see snapshots of Ben playing Little League and as a Cub Scout in a troop at Temple Emmanuel in Beverly Hills. He even broke out his bar mitzvah pictures. He's Jewish! It had been a lavish affair, to say the least. Anna recognized a younger, chubbier Sam sitting at the teen table with Dee. Cammy stood behind them, one hand on each of their shoulders, secure in her pubescent sensuality. Oh. Just one more step, and then I'll put you out of your misery, he pointed. High school junior year, when I made the mistake of trying out for the school play. Here, look through these. I have to pee. He handed her one more of the photo albums and kissed her forehead before departing to the bathroom. She grinned as she turned the pages. There was Ben as Danny Zuko in Grease, decked out in a 1950s costume, his mouth open wide to sing. That he wanted to share this part of himself. Share part of himself with her was endearing, really. Across the room, Ben's phone rang 3 times. She didn't answer it. Wouldn't have dreamed of answering it. And then his answering machine picked up. Ben had left a volume turned up on his machine, so Anna couldn't help but overhear the message. Dude, it's your roomie Josh at Princeton. Dean Ward called me today to see if they'd heard anything from you about spring semester. She said the FedEx letter to your house. Did you get it? Basically, if your ass isn't back here on Monday morning, you're out. So get in gear, because I don't want to have them to give me some transfer student from Hofstra later. The machine clicked off, leaving Anna stunned. Princeton is a thorough place. Ha! Ben said. Anna turned. She was standing in the doorway, grinning sheepishly. What are you doing, Ben? Anna demanded. He shook his head. How did we get here, Anna? How did this happen? I don't know what you're talking about. Once I told you that I didn't know what love was, you remember? He stepped into the room and sat on his bed. Yes. Well, now I do. Isn't it a bitch? She still didn't understand. He tugged her gently to the bed, and they sat side by side. He stared into her eyes. I didn't mean to fall in love with you, Anna, but it happened anyway. It was the most overwhelming, consuming thing, wonderful and terrible at the same time. She opened her mouth to speak, but he raised his index finger to her lips. And now that I know what love is, he continued, I just can't walk away from it. Away from you. It was Anna's worst subconscious fear articulated. You haven't gone back to school because of me? He put his hand in her hair and held it away from her face. You feel it. I know you do. She did feel something, but Ben's revelation didn't feel liberating. It felt quite the opposite. Yes, the earth had certainly moved more than once during the last few days, but she didn't want Ben to jettison his life because of it. What happened to the self-confident boy to whom she had given her heart? Where was his center? Who was he? Clearly he didn't know, and it was easier to hang his life onto her than to face his own self-doubts and insecurities. I only want what's best for you, Ben. I swear. You have to go back to Princeton. You'll never forgive yourself if you don't. In the long run, you'll never forgive me either. How do you know what I'll do? He retorted. Don't you hear what I'm telling you? Ben, I think you're not hearing me. Don't you understand? You're smothering me. He called his father to say they couldn't make it. They sat on his boyhood room, talking for hours. Anna tried to convince him that the boy who lived in this room was gone, and that the man who he needed to become needed to move forward to have courage to let her go. By the end of the night, there was an emotion left unfelt. Anger, joy, sadness, fear, and of course, love. Lots of love. The evening ended with them making love by moonlight streaming through the open shutters. Both of them knew it was for the very last time. Ugh! Dobby is free. Kind of unceremoniously, but Dobby is free, so we can focus back on the Django or Danny Bluestone. She sees him off at the airport, and they promise to talk, but to let each other go and be free. She literally sees him off and then immediately. Getting out of LAX was easy. Getting home, though, was a pain in the ass. She'd been stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic for half an hour when her cell phone rang. Normally she didn't answer while driving. Los Angeles drivers were dangerous enough without being distracted on the phone. But bumper-to-bumper traffic that rolled along at 3 miles an hour maximum didn't seem particularly hazardous. Hello? Hello, sunshine. What's up? Anna recognized Danny's warm, upbeat voice. I'm at a dead stop on the 405, staring at the rear end of a Hummer that hadn't moved in 5 minutes. How about you? Joy! On my way to Hugo's for lunch. Want to join me? Where's Hugo? He gives her directions. She said goodbye, hung up, and smiled. Danny was definitely the antidote she needed. As it turned out, Hugo's French toast turned out to be a close second. Sizzling golden brown with fresh California strawberries and a homemade whipped cream. During their lunch, at least 5 people stopped by their table to say hello. Mostly other writers who knew Danny, but Danny also took her over to meet someone named Dick Wolf, the producer of Law and Order, cop dramas. Anna had never heard of him, but Danny assured her that he was one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, and is. To everyone, Danny said that Anna was from Apex. Anna was surprised at how much respect this introduction reaped. No one looked fazed by Anna's young age. It's a young town, Danny confided as he took out a credit card to pay their check. Live fast, die young, write your scripts in 8 days max. I'd prefer to live a medium and take a year to write a novel. Then maybe you haven't really lived, Danny said, as the waitress took his credit card. What's the fastest you ever driven a car? What kind of question is that? Curious? How fast? Anna thought for a moment. When she was 17, she'd been in Germany with her mother. One time, on one of those autobahns, she cajoled her mother into letting her drive and had gotten the speed up to 140 kilometers, about 84 miles an hour. 85, about? Danny threw his head back and laughed. It's so funny. Nothing. Come on, I got something to show you. So they go racing cars, and it's a metaphor. Anna is a stallion, wild and free. She needs to push the limits and feel something, do something, be an active participant in her life. The guy does ask if she's older than 18, and she says yes, and I'm pretty sure Anna's still the last one who's 17. But the way that's phrased, I don't know how old she is anymore. I don't remember if I read the back of the book. It's been 3 weeks. Danny's like, letting an Upper East Side trust fund princess drive my spider. My grandfather, may he rest in peace, would turn over in his grave at Mount Sinai Cemetery. Anna loved the way Danny made her laugh. The more she got to know him, the more she liked him. She knew it wasn't the Sin would be so proud of me kind of extraordinary passion she felt with Ben. That had been amazing, and she'd always treasure the memories with Ben. This was something else, and it felt really good. And I think I like Anna rolling through men, because I think it's a more interesting read. I liked Danny, despite being 21 years old, 23 or so, but I liked Danny as a foil of him also being a reader and a lover of literature, but also wanting to push her to have fun and live life. 3 hours later, Anna was on the set of Hermosa Beach. Anna's job today was to check and recheck character hair, wardrobe, accessories for continuity. Basically, it was her responsibility to make sure that if a character had a hair part on the right, it stayed on the right. The scene we're concurrently shooting came from the party in the hotel room. In that sequence, Shyam had run crime from the party after seeing Cruz kiss Alexandra. Alexandra would confront Chime. They'd argue for a while, then Chime would storm off down the beach, and then Cruz would come outside and look for her, only to be seduced by the ever-scheming Alexandria. Alexandria is the one that's supposed to be the Anna-alike, and she wants the nails. She can't have the nails because that's not how you do it in the big book of how we do it on the East Coast WASP edition. However, she's going to argue. We are having a convulsion of characters. If you remember, Jackson Sharp has a guest starring role. Cammy's following around Clark to gain his approval from Anna. Anna's at work. Mia's also there. Mia, the little sister. Mia had managed to wedge herself between Cammy and Clark when they had gotten into his limo to go to the set of Hermosa Beach. No, you cannot. Clark chided her gently. Why not? I can act. Were you in a school play or something? No, but I know I can act. Mia insisted. So can I be in it? Cammy stared out the window and watched Los Angeles pass by. The only reason she'd come on this outing was to ensure that her father and Mia wouldn't bond in her absence. But she still tried to put Mia out of her mind, preferring to think about Let's say Adam. He couldn't get over his amazing luck the night before after being treated to a private concert by Beck and Willie Nelson. Cammy had joined him for the last half hour of it, and he was exceedingly grateful to Cammy, having brought him to the after party. Naturally, he accepted her invitation to her birthday bash on Tuesday night. He had not, however, suggested that he drive her home and hadn't offered more than a warm hug when they parted. Well, Cammy was sure that in Adam's mind, a hug was a gentlemanly thing to do. He was the kind of guy who probably didn't French until the third date. At this rate, she calculated that she'd be Adam's intro to Down and Dirty hadn't happened until after graduation. However, American Pie, might be, Cammy planned to accelerate the learning curves. Cammy knew that she should be seething, but actually she felt more morose and lonely. Here Anna was, getting compliments from her dad, flirting with the notebook, and Ben Birnbaugh was probably at home at the top of Stone Canyon waiting for her. After that, Anna would probably call Sam and meet her, and probably Dee too, for dinner at Hotel Bel Air, and then drive down to the encounter at the airport for after-dinner drinks. Who would cheer her up? Her thoughts returned to Adam. Even though that first kiss she gave him was just to make Sam jealous, now she thought about him a lot. His tenderness, his humor, he was just so decent. And under that good boy facade, she knew there had to be a very bad boy. There always was. There had to be a very bad boy in all the ways that counted. She could tell by the way he kissed her back. Funny though, when she pictured them together, they weren't doing the nasty. Instead, she rested her head on his shoulder while he stroked her hair. For once, Cammy didn't want to prove a guy how hot she was. Instead, she just wanted the guy. Okay, so I was like, oh my god, Sam has nothing to do in this fucking plot, except for be belittled and made sad. Sam looked up into the marine eyes of a guy so handsome he took her breath away. Or maybe she was just choking on cheese. She gasped for breath, coughing hoarsely. The guy hit her on the back. You okay? You need Heimlich maneuver? Sam managed to shake her head. The guy found an apple martini and gave it to Sam, who sipped gratefully. Sorry, went down the wrong pipe. Happens. I'm Shane Weston. She's like, oh, what show are you on? He gives her the show. He's on 3 episodes. I'm a lifeguard who saves Chime's life. She cries on my shoulder over Cruz's engagement to Alexandria, and we fall into each other's arms until she finds out that I'm only getting close to her so that I can discover the combination to her father's safe. Oh, you're the lifeguard. That's really a burglar. Now that's innovative writing. They chit-chat back and forth. She tries to pretend like she's not Jackson Sharp's daughter. And then, man, you have the greatest eyes. I do? Sam was taken aback. No guy had ever complimented her eyes before. They were brown. Big deal. She tried color contact lenses, but they had only succeeded in looking like a brown-eyed girl's pathetic enough to wear fake blue eyes. Oh yeah, guys must think that all the time. Sam tried non-committal smile. His face was so close to hers. He smelled like some subtle, spicy cologne. Okay, this boy was seriously hot. It almost made her chuckle to think that not very long ago she had worried that she might be gay. No girl could make her feel this kind of heat. Hey, I'd really like to get to know you better, Shane went on. Maybe we could have lunch, catch a movie, or am I moving too fast here? Uh-oh, she took her Max Spice lip pencil out of her purse and wrote her cell phone number on the napkin and handed it to him. Great. Shane tucked it in the pocket of his jeans and got up from his seat. Sam watched as one of his drunk friends came lurching towards him. Hey, Shane O'Bano, how's it going, bro? Hey, Greg, Shane said back. You been hitting the juice a little too hard, bud? The drunk guy loomed over Shane. They're fucking great, he slurred. You should definitely try one. So, you find Jackson Sharp's daughter like I told you? Shit. Sam could see from Shane's face that from his wasted butt had just busted him. He had known all along who she was, and that's why he had tried to pick her up, because he was under the false impression that dating Jackson Sharp's daughter would help his talentless ass. It had happened to her so often. How could she be so stupid to fall for it again? Well, screw both of them. Sam stood up, glaring at the two guys, and then she used her impressive lungs to make sure her voice would carry across the lobby. I don't care about your gay porn videos, Shane. I don't call that a reel of your work. Sorry. Head swiveled in their direction. Exactly the reason she had done it. Fuck you too. So now they're at the after party. Danny chit-chats with Anna. Anna meets up with Sam, and they're sad together. And literally, like Cammy said, where like Sam would confide in her, you haven't given her reason to not to confide in you. Sam, again, bingo bango, is like, I'm fat. Anna's like, girl, no, you're not. You're like LA fat, but like in Brooklyn, there'd be so many men all over you. Sam, you're judging by crazy Hollywood standards. You're in the wrong city. In New York, I know dozens of guys. I know a dozen guys who'd be all over you. It's because you're the whole package. Great, I'm a 3,000-mile mistake. Anna had to laugh at that one. Sam finally talks to Anna about the fucking short film they're supposed to make together, and Anna agrees that she wants to do it because she doesn't super love being Clark's intern, and it's a little boring and a lot. They shake on being partners, and I kind of love that. I love them being friends. They're just like besties. When you're so craving uncomplicated, like being so just like, it's just like a normal friendship. So because Cammy feels sad about Sam and Anna and Mia and Clark and God among angels and my phone's gonna die, she goes and picks up Adam to bring him to the Hermosa Beach. They kind of cat and mouse flirting, and as she flirts with him brazenly, and he's like, oh, you actually mean it. And he's like, I don't think I'm the guy you're looking for. And she goes, no, you're exactly the guy I'm looking for. Anna's dancing with Danny Bluestone, so he's feeling a bit more bleh. And so he's like, Cammy stirring the pot, calls Danny Anna's new boyfriend, and Adam feels a bit meh, but bleh. Danny reached out a hand to help Anna into one of the horse-drawn carriages that lined up the street outside the hotel. A special touch for the party. Giddy from 2 martinis and Danny's sense of humor, Anna had readily agreed to the carriage ride. It would be fun. And it meant that she wouldn't have to look at Cammy with Adam. The sight of them together had come close to ruining her evening. He was a great guy. She was a scorpion. Which, I for a second read it as Scorpio, and I'm like, just fuck Scorpios. Anna knew that it was only a matter of time before Adam got stung. The two of them laugh at some jokes, some screenwriting jokes, and she decides that she is happy right now. And that is enough. It doesn't have to be blow off your pants, draw sexual tension, just to be nice. So Anna kisses him. Anna kisses Danny. Back with Cammy and Adam. They go to, Cammy and Adam go to another after party with someone called Mo Bad. He's a rapper. Does this section teeter on cultural appropriation and tactless AAV, white people misunderstanding AAVE? Yes. Is it better than Some of the Day? Oh, absolutely. It wasn't unusual for girls at Beverly Hills High to hook up with hot guys from proverbial wrong side of the tracks, which was why Cammy could attest to have attended a goodly number of parties in East LA. Personally, Cammy found the rich white girl hooks up with the Latino son of Mexican parents thing kind of played, but she dutifully followed Mo's 1995 Dodge Viper to the Echo Park neighborhood, where they parked outside an abandoned red brick building in a dirt parking lot already jammed with SUVs and European sedans. They dance, it's sweaty, she's getting hot and heavy with Adam. God, she had been right. Adam Flawed was hot. Really hot. He knew just how to kiss her and touch her and tease her. All she wanted to do was rip his clothes off, and there's Dee. And Dee's like, oh my god, I need that here. Oh my god. We both were at the after party. We didn't speak. Can't talk about that. She's having my baby. Because the dirty dancing is happening. Dee brought Mia to this place because Dee is mentally ill. She is a little stupid, but she's chemically imbalanced and she cannot help it. Impulse control. You brought Mia to this place, Cammy yelped. Come on, we went to parties like this when we were 14. You gave parties like this when you were 14. Where is she? So they go looking for her. There on the ground was Mia, glassy-eyed and out of it. Mia had mascara tracks running down both of her cheeks. One of Cammy's favorite sweaters was half on and half off her shoulders. Cammy grabbed her arm. What did you take? Mia's head lolled. Huh? Who the hell are you? A scruffy guy in his early 20s appeared, a half-consumed pint of Jack Daniels in his hand. Her sister, you shit, Cammy told him. She's 14. The guy faltered. Whoa. She told me she was 18. Prison. Get her out of here, Cammy ordered Adam, who lifted Mia and carried her around the building to Cammy's car. What are you doing? Mia asked dreamily. What did you take? Cammy demanded, then reached her car, and Adam leaned Mia against the hood. A couple of beers and a joint, what's the biggie? No E? You didn't shoot or snort anything? You sure? I don't do that stuff, Mia mumbled. God make a scene, why don't you? Hey, where's D? Forget D. We're going home. So they get her going. Wild child, huh? Adam peered back at the snoring girl. She looks about 10 now. Wild Valley girl, the worst kind. God, what if we hadn't shown up? Cammy asked. She could feel Adam studying her in the dark. You really care about her, huh? No, I don't even like her. Then... How could she explain? Cammy had hardly been the type of girl to go around saving people from themselves. I'm not getting all maudlin here, but after my mom died, I had some problems. My dad was really... She was great. Cammy swallowed the lump that welled up in her throat. She wasn't about to start crying, and that's for sure. By the time I was in middle school, I thought I was hot shit and all grown up. I looked for attention in a lot of really stupid, fucked up ways. I'm lucky I lived through a lot of it. And I wish I had a big sister to save me from doing some of the stupid shit I did, Cammy admitted. But I didn't. And so you're doing it for me, Adam concluded. A little bit. But mostly doing it for me. Believe me, that doesn't mean I like her. Adam's finger reached under Cammy's hair to gently massage the back of her neck. There's really more to Cammy Shepherd than meets the eye, he said softly. Don't let it get around. God, his hand felt so good. He was so gentle and nice and kind. How could a boy so sweet be so hot? But he was. He really was. It's not that. Well, maybe it partly is. I like you, Cammy. I'd like to get to know you a little better. I just have to get other things with Anna. Anna, the name exploded from Cammy's lips. I know we weren't together for that long, Adam went on, but I still have feelings for her, and that really wouldn't be fair to you. So let's just take it slow. Cammy clutched the steering wheel. She had just bared her soul to a boy who she wanted, and he turned her down because he was still hung up on Anna Percy. Okay, Cammy said, and what she meant was, okay, Anna Percy's going to ruin everything if I don't do something, and soon. What do you guys think's gonna happen? Anna meets up with Django. She's like, my boyfriend is back at Princeton, so things don't have to be weird between us. He plays the piano for her, and she's like, oh my God, who are you? What's your story? And he's like, I'm mysterious and Cajun. I'm hot and sexy and different and special. She was looking at him and she's like, ooh, are we gonna kiss? Wondering if Django wanted to kiss her. When had she turned into such a... Anna stopped her own train of thought. She suddenly realized this was so Sin-esque. Anna had wanted to be more like her daring best friend back in New York. Now it was actually happening. If Jane Percy knew anything of her younger daughter's newly wicked ways, she'd probably hire a well-bred man in Savile Row to Suits to have her deprogrammed, because this behavior was anything but this is how we do things in the big book East Coast Wasp edition. I think I got it right. What are you smiling about? Django asked. Nothing. What were you playing when I came downstairs? They're having a little moment. It doesn't culminate in anything. Anna and Danny took their drinks. Danny's was sex, and Anna's was virgin. Out of the star-shaped pool behind the mansion, behind that was a beach and an endless ocean. This is lovely, she told him, as they stood at the edge of the pool deck sipping their drinks. Streisand 2 houses to the right, Spielberg 2 houses to the left. One minute I tell myself it's worth putting up with all the crap to live between them someday. Danny mused. Then I wake up in the middle of the night feeling like a total sellout who's never going to write his novel, and then I think I write TV because I know the novel will be average. It won't suck, but it won't be great. It will just be good enough to get some nice rejection letters, and I'll watch 2 years of work go down the drain. You're being a little hard on yourself. You're right, Danny cheerfully decided. Nothing's worse than an overprivileged guy whining about his overprivilege. Oh, I can think of a few things, Anna teased. Such as... She was cut off by the ringing of Danny's cell phone. Excuse me. He plucked it out of his pocket. Hello? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, I'll be right there. Danny hung up with a dark cloud settled over his feature. What's wrong? It was Clark, Master Commander summoning me back. Now? You can't even have lunch? Like I said, I'm a TV slave. He gets pissed about something or the other. I'm just be glad he didn't ask for you too. Okay, that's actually not what Dee invites Cammy and Mia to lunch at the Polo Lounge. Cammy barely listened. She had a lot on her mind, mostly Adam, and his declaration that he couldn't or wouldn't be with Cammy until he was over Anna. Fuck Anna Percy. Revenge was going to be so sweet. Dee apologizes for leaving her sister to be groomed. Somehow, they've lost Mia again. Come on, Cammy told Dee. The two of them stared towards the upper parking lot where no one except the valets usually went. But they hadn't walked more than 5 minutes when they heard the peals of laughter coming from inside a small tool shed. Cammy recognized the laugh. Mia. She stood towards the entrance of the shed and pulled the doors open. There, sitting in a circle, were 4 middle school aged kids. One of them held a bong. The shed reeked of high quality reefer. Hi, want some? The boy said, holding the bong out to Cammy. The simple remark was enough to start the kids laughing again. Mia, what do you think you're doing? Cammy asked, appalled that Mia was using such a bad judgment as to get stoned in a place where she could easily be busted. This is your mom, Mia? The boy with the bong asked. More laughter. Fine, our car's leaving in 5 minutes, Mia. You'll either be there or not. With that, Cammy closed the door. Let her ruin her life, she thought. No one died and appointed me Superman. I'm not even her real sister. So we're back with Anna. Around 10 that evening, Anna was just about to climb into the bathtub when she heard a knock on her bedroom door. Miss Anna? Someone called. The voice was female. Anna slipped on her robe and walked through the bedroom and opened the door. Juanita, her father's housekeeper, was at the door. She wore a coat over her uniform and her purse over her arm. I was just leaving, and a man is here to see you. Clark Shepherd, Anna thought automatically. Why would Clark come to her house on a Sunday night? Anna thanked Juanita and followed her downstairs. Clark stood in the foyer. Juanita slipped out behind him. I wasn't expecting you, Anna said, feeling awkward. Yes, he was prone to call at any hour of the day or night. I'm gonna start at tonight. HT exclusive. The inside scoop on the scandal secrets of Arnold Pink's newest show, Hermosa Beach. Footage of Scott Stoddard, the actor playing Cruz that had been taken at a previous night's party, filled the screen. Scott Stoddard, who plays the hunky male lead Cruz on the soon-to-premiere Hermosa Beach, apparently has a secret past. He has been linked to white supremacist group, the Aryan Alliance, with major followings in both America and England. According to our source, Stoddard attended Aryan Alliance meetings in both Idaho and Liverpool over the last 2 years and was involved in weapons training at both conclaves. Hollywood Tonight was tipped off by an insider source, Linda continued, a disgruntled Hermosa Beach insider. We wonder how this disclosure will affect the show's premiere in 10 days. And, well, that's horrible, Anna said, bewildered. But you could have just called me and asked me to tune in. Why do I need to? You're the insider. What? I got a call from a friend on Hollywood Tonight. He warned me that this was running and that you who leaked. Anna shook her head at the bizarre accusation. Me? But that's impossible. That's not possible. I don't know anything about these people. How could I? Clark stabbed a finger at Anna. You have fucked the wrong person, Anna Percy. You are fired, and you will never eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner in this town again. As soon as he stormed out of the door, Anna stood with mouth agape. Had that really just happened? She had to call Danny. Maybe he could make some sense of the insanity. She hurried upstairs and punched his number into her cell. Danny, it's Anna. I'm in a meeting. Clark was just here and I can't talk to you. I'll lose my job. Clark says you're dead to us. Danny? I told you last night, Anna. Clark says you're dead to us. That's a direct quote. I'm really sorry. Anna clutched her cell tighter and turned away from the prying eyes of Beverly Hills High School cafeteria. It had been the next day at school and she was at lunch. Though she had tried to reach Danny repeatedly during the morning, he hadn't answered his phone. Now he had answered but refused to talk. I didn't do it! You know me better than that. Here's the deal. I like you, but I can't take sides. Not against Clark. Anna was hurt profoundly. I'm sorry you felt that way. This is my livelihood, Danny went on. I can't screw around here. Everyone knows we were hanging out. Anna's voice went Jane Percy icy. No one could cut someone quite as cold the way Anna's mother could. Fine. I'm sorry I called. I won't bother you again. Anna, this time it was Anna's turn to hang up. So, the same way on the front end of this, where the denizens of Beverly Hills High School are now so into Anna, they're now all making up rumors about how she did this, and they are icing her out because she must be some kind of snake, which is crazy because she outed a fucking Nazi. Sam joins her. Well, let's see. I blew my Apex assignment and got fired by Margaret. Then Clark fired me for creating a scandal. One more and I set the world record. Hey, cheer up. You never know how these things play out. The publicity might be good for the show. Scott Starter might even go on 60 Minutes and make a contrite apology. You'll be hailed as a hero and get a development deal at the UPN. It's a strange town, Sam. Sam's eyes slid over to the girl who was wearing a lace bra over her t-shirt. Land of insanity and fashion victims. So let me ask you, if it wasn't you, then who? Anna shrugged and dropped her chin into her hands. There are other interns, Sam pressed. Why is everyone so sure it's you? Because that's what someone at Hollywood Tonight told Clark. Sam shook her head. Come on, Anna, where's your killer instinct? You think like a Los Angelan, not like a New Yorker. Who'd want to make you look really, really, really bad? Who'd want to make you look... Slowly the truth dawned on Anna, who had been so horrified by her situation she had barely thought about who'd framed her. Cammy? Aren't you bright? Anna sat up straighter. No, that was insane. She wouldn't stoop this low. This was her father's show. Why would she want to hurt it? Sam shook her head. I know, Cammy. The answer is yes, she would. But you just can't accuse her, Anna began, unless you know for a fact we don't. But I can help you find out. Anna leaned forward. How? Before Sam could answer, Adam loped by their table, barely nodding in their direction. She's even playing games with Adam's head now. He's the nicest guy I know. Anna looped some hair that had come loose from her ponytail behind one ear. In some ways, I'd like to just forget the whole thing. It's all so sordid. Spoken like a girl of good breeding. Sam teased, but breeding doesn't get you squat in this town. I say, first we figure out what happened, and then we give as good as you got. Cammy has... I do feel bad for Cammy. Her dad's a fucking schmuck, and her stepmom's icy as shit. So Cammy has to plan her own birthday party and execute it. She has the party. It's a big blowout. She gets 30 seconds to Mars. Everyone who's anyone is there. They're all there. Everyone's hanging out. Cammy sasses Sam about hanging out with Anna Percy. Sam doesn't overplay their hand. It was a hell of a party. Even though it was a weeknight, at 2 a.m, Cammy held court at the table of 15 of her closest friends. Unobtrusively as possible, Antebellum Daddy's special events coordinator, a young woman named Jennifer, approached holding a European-style portable credit card machine. Want some champagne? Cammy asked, grabbing a bottle by the neck and lifting it in Jennifer's direction. The young woman smiled. Maybe in a bit. But we have a minor problem. Your credit card was there. Cammy laughed loudly. That's ridiculous. I authorized it when we planned this affair. Just try it again. I did. 3 times. Do you have another card? These things happen. Cammy frowned, opened up her product purse, and dug out another credit card. Declined. Cammy saw Dee across the table. Dee, I need your visa. What for? Dee asked sassily. Again, people laughed, since it was perfectly obviously why. Cammy glared at her in impotence. Come on, I need it. Dee shrugged, fished back out her pocket of low-slung velvet pants, and pushed the Visa card across the table. When Cammy slapped it into Jennifer's hand, when that card doesn't go through, you owe me one big fat apology. Jennifer looked at Dee. The tab is over $10,000. Do I need to speak more slowly or what? Interrupted. She's not paying. If mine's declined, hers is declined. Just put it through. Jennifer shrugged and ran Dee's card through the machine. Within seconds, a receipt for Dee spat out. Cammy? Dee ventured, as an even bigger crowd of onlookers gathered around the table, whispering and pointing. Shit. Cammy tore up the receipt and let it fall to the floor. Then she got an idea. Cancel the transaction, please. Do you accept this? It was her bank debit card. The last time she checked, there was enough money in her account to feed a small nation for a year. Sure, run it yourself. Jennifer said, holding out the machine for her. Cammy declined, flashed on the screen. I'll talk with my financial advisor if I were you, Jennifer quipped. Did you cancel my friend's transaction? No. Good. Cammy held the Visa receipt out to Dee. Sign this. Dee flinched. It's a loan, right? No, Dee. I think you should pay for this whole fucking party as my present. Of course it's a loan. I'll write you a check as soon as But as they approached the club's private parking structure, she saw a tow truck pull out. It had the BMW on its flatbed. Hey! Cammy said, and recognizing the vehicle. That's my car! Dee ended up driving Cammy home, dropping Adam off on the way. As she drove, Cammy tried to make light of the bizarre end to her party, claiming it had to be some kind of misunderstanding. Thanks for the help, Dee, Cammy said as Dee pulled up in front of her house. I mean it. No need to thank me, but write me that check tomorrow. Night. She turned and headed inside. There sat her father, stepmother, and Mia in the living room. One cozy little family. What a weird night. What's everyone doing up? Waiting for you, Patrice said, her voice dripping in icicles. But it's after midnight, Patrice. Don't you turn back into a witch and go riding off in your broom? See how mean she is? Mia asked. She's always this mean. I'm not in the mood for a late night soiree, okay? Cammy asked rhetorically. I had the most hellacious experience. My credit cards got declined and my bank debit card, and then my Beamer got towed, her father finished. He was sitting like a king on the Louis XVI chair made at the far end of the living room. Cammy trudged to the couch. How did you know? Because I had it towed. Cammy sat up. Excuse me. She looked from her father to her stepmother to Mia. Mother and daughter shared the smug countenance, but her father looked like a storm of cloud about to burst. What the hell is going on? Of all the self-centered, bitchy, thoughtless things you've done, Camilla, this takes the damn cake. Camilla? He never called her Camilla. What are you talking about? You fucked my show. His voice was low, but filled with fury. My show! Cammy tried hard to keep her cool. I did not. Yes, you did, Mia piped up. I heard you call Hollywood tonight from Dad's office. You said that you were that girl, Anna. And I say you're a pathological little liar. Anna and Sam Sharp said that they need to talk to me. They took me out to dinner. They told me how they thought you hurt Anna even though she never did anything mean to you. It made me think about how mean you are to me. So I told the truth. Her father looked disgusted. No, you didn't. No one cares about this, Anna. But you fucked my TV show over some stupid teenage vendetta. I don't care about your vendetta, but don't shit where you live, Camilla. You haven't learned anything. But I wasn't trying to hurt you, Dad. He raised his hand to silence her. Save it. Right now, you have no credit cards, no bank account, no car. And if I get any madder, I'll give your clothes away and you can shop at Costco. He put his finger in his daughter's face. Don't you ever fuck with me again. Do you hear me? Cammy managed to hold her head high. I hear you. Now you hear me. It's my birthday. My 18th birthday. I'm the only child you have, even if this brat over here does call you Dad. You don't care about me. All you care about is your office, your work, your show. So if you want to be ashamed of someone, look in the mirror. Then she turned and walked to the stairs so she could cry in her room in peace. Miles loves me. I'm having Miles's baby, the actress cried. Wake up, Melinda. Miles only loves himself. Cammy watches soaps by herself the morning of when... Guess who arrives to give her a happy birthday gift? Adam, on his bike. He travels 3 miles uphill for her and delivers her a copy of Charlotte's Web for her birthday. He handed her the package. She tore the wrapping open. It was a first edition of Charlotte's Web. Look at the title page, he suggested. She leafed to the title page. It was signed by the author, E.B. White. Cammy had done a report on E.B. White when she was in 6th grade. She knew how the author hated to autograph his own books. Where'd Adam found this one? You mentioned it once that Charlotte Web made you think your mom, so I found this on eBay. Cammy pursed her lips. This is the best gift anyone's ever given me. So Anna goes and she's chit-chatting with Danny. Clark calls her and is like, whoops. She's like, suck a fat one, sir. I do not want to work with you. She talks to Danny. She's like, yo. He's like, are you coming back to set? She's like, no. He goes, well, can we still be friends? And Anna's like, yes. Which I like. I like that she's like, I'm not going to burn this bridge. I'm learning. I'm going to be better. I'm not just going to burn bridges. I'm going to be better. So that was Blonde Ambition. And I like this one. I have notes in my little like field journal that I take with me places. This is the 3rd book. I'm finishing this on December 8th. Let's see if I'm gonna push this one to production. Let's see if I can get it out by the end of the year so I can at least have 3 of these videos out by the end of the year. I've read a good amount of them. Reading, but getting these produced takes a lot of time and effort. Oh, fiddles. My 1st edition copy, I've bent the pages. Can you please get in there without damage? God, it's like the swelling of them being read now. I've made them too big for their little packaging. Alright. So we finished them. I'm really excited about that. Tall Cool 1 will come. I like that book a lot. Back in Black, I got a lot going on. Other way, you can maybe follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Megan_Blush_. I have a Dawson's Creek video coming. I have 2 in the pipeline. I was really hoping I could have gotten that out before the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen because it's taking forever to just get the footage to do the edit. You know, I'm really trying to be gentle with myself. You know, I'm a flower, delicate flower that needs to be treated as such. Yeah, you can follow my beauty channel. You can follow my hopes and dreams. You can follow this Pasai. I'm gonna figure out how to slay this wig better.
I'm gonna try my best, guys.
Love you. Bye.